Everybody, today's Tuesday, May 22nd, which means another episode of Tip Tuesday. Today's tip will be tip number 3. So if you follow along, you'll be able to see tip number 1, tip number 2, and today tip number 3. So tip number 3 is going to backdoor tip number 2. Tip number 2 is discussing about writing your plans down at night before you go to sleep so the next morning you'll be more productive and know what you're doing with your day. So today's tip, which is number 3, I got from my mentor. He told me to write down my accomplishments. The reason why he told me to write down my accomplishments is because I'm so caught up on the big picture. I'm always trying to see the big things. I'm never seeing the small things that I'm doing. So if you're writing down your daily task or whatever, as soon as you're done with that day, write down your accomplishments, what you did. Because here's the situation. Success is nothing but small steps over and over and over again. So if you write down your accomplishments, you can see it. You can see what you've been doing. So don't get caught up in the big picture too much, but write down all your things that you're doing, all your accomplishments. And I actually have a journal, or if you want to call it a book, whatever you want to call it. And every night before I plan my next day, I write down my accomplishments, what I did today. So in a month from now, I can always look back at my journal and be like, hey, you actually did some work. So like I said, today was tip number 3. Be sure to follow along so you can make sure to see what the next tip's coming. I'm doing them every 2 weeks instead of every week now. So make sure to click that subscribe button. Love you guys.